Hi, we're here today to do a little bit of a deep dive into one of the fundamental concepts behind charting the life course, and that is a person in the context of family and community. My name is Jamie O'Connor. I'm the outreach coordinator for Family Voices of Minnesota, and I'm also the parent to two children, one of which has a disability. So this is the awesome visual that Charting the Life course created to talk about or to display the fact that all of us, whether we have a disability or now or not, exist within the context of our family and our community. And you can't plan for a good life without considering that context. So Charting the Life course asks us to think about the good life for all. We cannot plan and create a good life for an individual with a disability without also making sure that their families are well positioned to be able to nurture, love, and support all individual members. We really want to make sure that families can harness their unique strengths and perspectives and abilities in order to create an individualized good life for everyone. This definition of family was created by one of the founding members of Family Voices National. And I think it's a wonderful way to just talk about how we define who our family is and where we live and what that looks like, that it doesn't, we're not just family by birth or blood, and that family can be temporary at times. But the ultimate point is that we define who our family is. So we can't get stuck on, well, this person has no family. Yes, they do. And we need to define who they are. So this is a great visual about why it's important to think about individuals with disabilities in the context of their families. 89% of individuals with disabilities are being supported by their families. We also need to think about our life stages, and that's life stages of an individual with a disability, but also of family members. It's really important to know that the impact of family at birth, early childhood, and school years is something that impacts individuals for their entire lives. It's important to think about the fact that parents age and might not be able to support their children in ways that they're accustomed to. It's important to think about siblings, for example, and how their lives will change as they go to college and are supporting families of their own. So we really have to consider, again, not just the individual's life stages, but the entire life cycle of the family. Family has a lifelong impact. So the way I raise my children will impact them forever, good or bad. I bring to them biologically maybe some height, maybe some early graying hair, but also just different skills and abilities. And likes and dislikes. Socially, family has a lifelong impact. What are our connections that we have because of our families, and what does that network look like? Environmentally, the neighborhoods that we grow up in, that we move to, whether our parents have a college education, and then the house rules and the expectations as being part of a family impact us throughout our lives as well. It's really, really important to talk about sibling relationships. These are lifelong companions for individuals with disabilities. This club sandwich generation, this visual is meant to really talk about the fact that siblings of children with disabilities or of individuals with disabilities may find themselves juggling a really overwhelming situation where they have their own children and their own family, and they're also trying to figure out how they can offer care and be involved with their sibling who has a disability. And then they may also find themselves navigating caring for aging parents as well. We really want to make sure that siblings are encouraged to focus on their own lives and to use their unique strengths and abilities to be involved, but to have their own good life at the same time. So again, we are just making sure that in order to have a good life for this individual with a disability that we're planning for, that we are bolstering everyone and supporting everyone across their lifespan as things change, that we're encouraging the person with the disability to be self-determined, to be able to make their own choices, and that we're always, always, always keeping the person and the family at the center of any planning that we're doing. The reciprocal roles concept is really asking us to think about who do we care about and who cares about us, and who do we care for and who cares for us. As I hesitate on this slide a lot because it's very triggering, I think, as a parent of a child with a disability at all stages of our life, but especially as we age, we have a lot of concerns about who will care for our children who have disabilities and who will care about them. And so we may plan and have everything worked out for who's going to care for them. And that doesn't still cover what happens if those plans fall apart. And so we have to talk about who cares about them. And then we have to pay attention to intentionally naming and nurturing that reciprocal piece. So who does my daughter care about and how does she show that? And how do we grow those relationships and nurture them? And so we're going to look at a couple of tools that will kind of help iron this concept out. I'm so sorry. So Charting the LifeCourse has come up with two very similar looking tools, and one is a relationship mapping tool, and the other one will be that reciprocal role tool. And this is the worksheet itself, but it gives space for talking about right now who is caring about an individual and spending time and creating memories, who holds the information, knows. And then this looking ahead column allows us to do a little bit of planning about who else might fill this role and how can that be bolstered. And the next steps for really thinking about how to grow that. And similar for caring for. I'm going to show you an example of a mapping family roles worksheet from Charting the LifeCourse that we did considering my daughter's family. And this was very scary for us. It can be very scary to look at this and know that there are holes that if I weren't here tomorrow, that there are things that might fall through the cracks. This can be very triggering for families, this activity. But I also want to name that it can be an act of gratitude. It can give us a chance to really see our village, and yes, the holes, but also a chance to think about who is here and who will be here, and then to really name what's important to us and what we want to make sure gets maintained throughout the life. So this is a very similar worksheet, but it allows you to talk more about the reciprocal roles. And how does the individual with the disability care for and care about members of the family, and how are they involved? So this was just a snippet, but thank you for giving me a few minutes to share. I just think this concept is really, really really critical to making sure that families don't feel as isolated and that they feel like the individuals and their families who do have disabilities will get the care that they need throughout their life.